You have been building your agents in Copilot Studio all wrong. You've heard that right. I am just back from an inspiring week at MVP Summit in Redmond, and I attended a session with the one and only Dwayne Robinson from the PowerCat team, who shared how I've been building my agents incorrectly and what to do about it. All right. So typically speaking, when I have built agents in Copilot Studio, I have built these large, kind of monolithic agents. They've got big sets of instructions, they've got a bunch of tools hooked up to them, and I've found that my experience has varied. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I would occasionally get Gen AI orchestration limit errors when agents like this would run, and I wasn't quite sure why. And Dwayne shared the secret for why this is. What you actually want to do in Copilot Studio is create a parent-child agent relationship, and that will give you a much better experience. And so what you actually want to do is come in here and create a parent agent, an orchestration agent, and have that then call the child agent. So let's go here and let's get into the agent. So I've created a just very blank agent here to handle orchestration. That's literally all it does. When this agent is called, now in this case it's an interactive agent, its job is to hand off to child agents. Just do a quick refresh here so that the instructions show up. That's all it's doing. It's going to hand off to the child agent who does the heavy lifting and then reports back to the parent and ultimately to the user. And so that's what this agent is doing here. Now, in Copilot Studio, I do have the option here to add an agent. I can add a child agent. Now, this is a lightweight cut-down agent experience, or I can add other agents from my environment. So I can create a standalone agent and add it as child, or I can add these lightweight agents. Now, in these lightweight agents, when I go to add a tool to it, or if I want to use things, say, the MCP server or other tools, when I go to add this, what's going to happen? So it looks like in this experience I'm adding a MCP server to this agent. What's actually happening is it's adding it to the parent agent, not to the child agent. And so when I have played with this in the past, my child agents have not done what I've expected. They've defaulted to knowledge, and this is the reason why. So the way you want to get around all of this, so if I come here to tools, so I'm here in my parent agent, and you can see I've added this tool to the parent, but when I get into my child agent, it's actually not there. So it looks like it's there, but it actually isn't. It's gonna throw some errors when you try to run it. All right. So how do we get around all of this? Well, let's quickly delete this, and let's we got rid of that. Awesome. All right. What I did was I created this next best action agent, and I created it as a standalone agent. So let's come over here to agents and my next best action. So this was created as a standalone agent, and it's going to call Model Context Protocol. It's going to use the new business skills preview feature in Dataverse, and in my next video I'm going to show you how to work with that. And once I've created this agent, I then come back to my top level orchestrator agent, and I'm just going to add the agent in, so you can see I've already done that. And then I'm going to come over to my instructions, and I add the agent in here. And remember, you just use a /, and that's going to let me call agents and tools. Now, I haven't noticed the MCP server showing up here, so MCP is not showing up in the tools at the moment, but other connectors and agents are. And so I've said in this other agent, I've had to put in the description just to use the MCP tool. But that's how you set up a parent-child relationship between the agents. And then when I go to run it, it will go call the child from the parent. Now, one other thing that I will mention is that by setting it up this way, I can test things independently. So I can come over here to my next best action agent, and I can ask it to run. So let's grab this because we're going to need it, and I can say, help me understand the next best actions for my opportunity. And it's going to go and perform this task specifically. So as I'm building a more modular agent, an orchestrator that's got child agents, I can test these child agents independently before adding them into the parent agent. So you can see it's calling the MCP server, doing all the things that that I would expect. It's going to run through its paces. Now, one of the cool things about MCP servers, you can see here, it's trying and failing. It's trying different things, consulting knowledge, searching through. It's found it. It didn't find it at first. Now it's finding it. And so you see that there's a lot going on here with MCP server. So it's not quite as fast as using, say, a connector or an agent flow, but it is a lot more robust in that it's actually reasoning over our data and trying different things and trying to solve the problem the way a human would, which is really, really cool. And it's come back with our next best actions. If I'd been using a more traditional tool, it probably would have just thrown an error. But what this did was it threw an error. Hey, what's not working? Let's consult our knowledge. And we try again, and here we go. And so it's done that. Now let's copy this prompt, and let's come back to our parent agent, and let's try it out here. So let's paste this in. And so what we're going to see now is it's going to go and reason over this, determine that it needs the child agent, so it's already called next best action. Next best action is doing its thing, and it should come back to us with a response momentarily. Now, in terms of licensing, I did have a quick look through the docs. I didn't see anything in terms of Copilot Studio messaging credits in terms of do child agents consume more credits. So it's something I'm going to have to look into and probably play with a bit to see what's happening in terms of do child agents increase the consumption of Copilot Studio messaging credits, because you wouldn't necessarily do this every time, but for more complex agents, this does seem to be a much better experience in terms of having the orchestrator hand off to a child agent to do the heavy lifting and then report back. Now, we don't have quite the granular view that we did when we were testing the child agent, so we just see that it's in progress and it's running through all those paces that we saw a few minutes ago, but it's come back to us with the response. So that's how you can set up parent and child agents in Copilot Studio using Model Context Protocol. So again, set up a very vanilla parent agent as your orchestration, and then create your child agents as standalone agents, connect them to the Dataverse MCP server, and then add them as child agents to the orchestrator agent and reference it in the instructions. And that's how you can create a better experience in Copilot Studio for some of your more complex operations. All right, thanks for watching. Go do something awesome on the Power Platform today, and I'll talk to you soon.